We really are so glad you're here. That was a terrific presentation. I think it really opened a lot of eyes around this room. We know, in fact, some of the specifics about dropouts. We hear every day about the population and the mix and who's educated and who isn't, but to give that national perspective was terrific. For those of you who haven't seen the Chronicle today, it was as if we had orchestrated the headlines. It says, Census finds city lags in education. This is the front page of the Chronicle. Our presentation today and your presentation today, Lee, is very, very timely. We're going to spend just a couple minutes telling you why the Center for Houston's Future is involved with this, and then we're going to go to breakout sessions. So, again, I talked about our vision, and all of you are part of that vision and will help us achieve that vision for our city. We do regional research and strategic planning. I think a number of you have been involved in that in our data groups. We have worked in the area of environment. This year we're working in the area of education. Next year we'll be working in public health. Of course, continuing with this effort on education. Some of you are leadership graduates from our leadership forums. I know there's a group back there, Ping and Dorothy and Karen is in our class today. We're just delighted that you all are part of that base of diverse leadership that we need for our region. And then we're doing things like we are doing today, and that is convening and getting folks involved in the work that we really need to do as a region and as a city. We also are an independent. That is, we're not an advocacy organization. We don't take a point of view. We're a source of information, and we're an incubator for these kinds of projects. And we have worked in the area of education for some time. Just so you know, in fact, Todd Litton is here today with us, who is now with Citizen Schools. But back in 2002, he was working at the Center for Houston's Future and was staffing this very important initiative, Preschool for All, that has been carried on by Collaborative for Children. We worked in 2003 with HISD on the Teacher Toolbox project and Project Clear Suite. Teacher Toolbox was a collaborative grant that brought 13,000 laptops to HISD teachers. Project Clear Suite was an online resource, again, for HISD teachers. 2006, we worked on a survey in Harris County for what businesses are doing to support college access and college education. Again, I mentioned we're doing community indicator work this year on human capital development and education. And we really felt that Talent Dividend was a terrific opportunity for our community, and again, playing a role today as a convener. You heard from Lee that we are competing against a number of cities. Is it 57? 57 other cities. Again, top population areas that we're competing, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia. But more importantly, we're really competing against ourselves. We're looking at our graduation rate and where it was in 2009 and then again in 2013. We'll be getting points for different things, 1 point for a 2-year degree, 2 points for a 4-year degree, and I learned from Fran this morning that we're also going to include graduate degrees, and we'll be finding out more about that today. You have a group of people who have really already been laying some groundwork for our work together today, and I want to introduce them. This is the advisory panel. Back in May, when we decided to get involved with this initiative, we needed to put together an advisory panel in order to be a part of this $1 million prize. Elaine Barber with the Greater Houston Partnership, Dr. Steve Head with Lone Star. Let's see, we have several people. John Sousa is here from El Paso. Kelly Frells with the Center for Houston's Future, our board chair. Julie Baker from HISD. Dr. Hellier from San Jacinto College. Dr. Couture. Bob Wimpelberg is representing U of H today. Scott Hochberg, unfortunately, is not with us, and I will tell you, if any of you have worked with him, which I bet most of you in this room have, he has been suffering from a severe case of shingles. So if you want to drop him a line and say, get well soon, I know he'd appreciate it. Barbara Page, Houston Leadership for Tomorrow. Dr. John Rugley from TSU. Dr. Cook is here from HCC. And then we have Steve Maislin and Renee Lizzie Barrios from the Houston Community Foundation. And that is our fiscal agent. When we win that $1 million prize, they will be in charge of making sure it's spent properly. So this advisory panel has been meeting throughout the summer and just talking preliminarily about some of the strategies that we might want to tackle. You heard Lee talk about the almost completers. That is certainly one of our strategies. Looking at identifying the high potential college students, making sure that students go through the system in a timely way through the support that they need to progress. Using something called the reverse transfer policy. For those of you who are not familiar with that, so many of our kids start out in community college and then they'll transfer to that four-year college and they never really take the time to get the two-year associate degree. HCC, for instance, can work with U of H and they can reverse transfer such that they can make sure that that two-year degree is granted, and at the same time this person can continue to get their four-year degree. And then another key player is the business community, and again, we're just happy to have all of you here today because there are so many folks that are out in the workforce that are almost completers, or they could go on and finish that degree with a little support from their employer. So we want to make sure that they're aware of best practices. This is just a communication chart. It is not an org chart. I know when we look at these boxes, we're used to looking at org charts, but the way this will work is today you'll have the opportunity to be part of the subcommittee, and that might be on businesses, universities, ISDs, community colleges, nonprofits, and then you might be with the media or in a public relations role to get the word out to the community at large. So communications across, up and down. This is not a top-down organization, and we are really here as a convener and to help this process along. So today we're going to spend a little time in breakout sessions, so from about 10 to 11, and we're running a little early, so we might be able to take that break and start a little sooner. We'll make sure we'll figure out timing-wise when we do that. But on your name tag, there should be a room number for where you're going, and that will be one of those 6 subcommittees. If for any reason there isn't, we're going to put those up in a minute. After we've had that opportunity to visit in our breakout groups, you'll have one person, your leader, come back and report back to our full group about what the discussion was. Again, when we get into our breakout sessions, we're going to take a look at those preliminary strategies. Again, only preliminary, prioritize, and then talk about what are the other things that we could do to work on this issue. Just to reinforce what Lee just said, we're looking right now at a below average college attainment rate. We're at 27.9%. We want to move that needle at least 1 percentage point by 2013. So that 1% will give us that talent dividend of $4.2 billion. And we also want to stress to you today that while this is our kickoff, and we do think we're going to win that prize, we're in it for the long run, and we hope that all of you all are too.